Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm the Yellow Brick Rabbit, and today we're going to look at Wonder Woman. Now, I want to preface this by saying I enjoyed Wonder Woman. It was a good movie, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was fun and enjoyable. It was action-packed, and I recommend it. Go enjoy the movie. Before you watch this, go enjoy the movie, because watching this may very well ruin it for you. Or, well, like, yeah, it will. There's, like, spoiler. Like, every spoiler you can imagine for the movie is going to be in this video, probably. So, spoiler alert. Hopefully you got the memo now, okay? We're going through the movie. I want to also mention that I'm a DC fan. I enjoy DC, so if anything, I have a bias towards wanting to like this film, like, more than I should, I guess. But that being said, let's rip it to shreds, huh?
So, the gods created us, the Amazons, to influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth.
Can I ask you some questions?
Looks very good. Very good. How is she? She's good. Keep working. I will. Naomi!
We have watched here a little bit of the scene of watching the amazing battle preparations of the warrior women of the Amazons and their amazing commander, their greatest commander in their history, as we'll find out later, going through some detailed training notes with one of the trainers of her people. And yes, this is the level of depth you should expect from the script from here on out, basically. How is she? She's good. Yeah. Totally sounds like a commander and a trainer discussing the training of one of their troops. Then, yeah, no, that's... I know you're sitting there saying, it's an establishing shot. It's just a throwaway line to show what she's doing. Just showing off the Amazons. Why do you bother? And like, well, like, because we see the Amazons fight a little bit later. How does that execution go? Let's watch. Ah, I see. Yes. No, that's definitely been trained enough. Uh-huh. And I know you're going to be sitting there now going like, yeah, well, they have guns, and it's not, the whole point is that, they were prepared for guns, and guns are crazy, and guns make things unfair, and guns, and yeah, that's fantastic, except none of their strategic things make any sense regardless of the guns. Like, there's absolutely nothing that makes any sense. Actually, those ropes that we just watched, where they get massacred there, that might be the most sensical thing that they do strategically throughout the entire fight. So let's look at some more Amazon battle tactics here.
Ready your bows!
They have guns, right?
Fire!
Yes, that's right. You just saw them use fire arrows. Now, there are a couple things crazy in this scene. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard the argument against fire arrows in general, in history, in historical films, before, probably, in the fact that they're very rarely an actual thing, and they barely ever work, and, it's hard to even keep one alight without some type of accelerant. But they are Greek, so they could have, like, Greek fire or something. They don't really show anything about that at any point whatsoever, so it's hard to really give them that one. But at the same time, so the first problem is only that the fire arrows make no sense. And to be honest, I'm not that big of a fan of the whole, like, historical argument of the fire arrow thing, because most of the time when they use fire arrows in movies, it's for a lighting effect more than historical accuracy. It'll be like a scene at night where an army surrounds an area and lights their arrows, and then it'll give a shot to show like how many archers there are, to give a sense of like the numbers, even though it's a night shot where you can't see anything and everything else is pitch black and there's no other source of light. So then to get actual light in the shot and have things make sense to be seen, the fire arrows make sense. This is in the middle of the day, so that is not an excuse. And then on top of that, let's get to the real problem here. They're firing them into the Mediterranean. Or the Aegean, whatever. They're firing them into the sea. They're firing fire arrows into the sea. Yes. This is their great... Like, oh no, they're trying to light the ships on fire. Except none of those are burning hard enough to light the ships on fire. And I don't think we ever see one of the ships on fire, do we? Like, if we saw one of the ships catch fire and, like, the guys jump out, then maybe... Still doesn't seem like the smartest choice. Yeah, that seems like the logical conclusion of that. I mean, what was she really trying to do? I mean, they had a vantage point from atop the cliff on which to rain down arrows of death with a huge advantage. And they decided to swing on a rope down to a lower level, meaning that whatever wind was present is now, tenfold, because you're, like, literally swinging through it. And you're going to try to aim an arrow through that? I don't, like, Amazon or not, like, the arrow is still an arrow. The bow is still a bow. The bow can only handle so much strain before it snaps, so, I mean, Amazon or not, she's dependent on however strong the bow is, and so, Amazonian bow, okay, extra strong bow. Still easier to fire from on top of the cliff. And safer. This strategy is nonsensical. Does it look cool? Of course it looks cool. But it makes no sense. Xena Warrior Amazon. Enough said.
And stopping the god of war is our foreordinance. As Amazons, this is our duty.
But you are not an Amazon like the rest of us. So you will do nothing. As your queen, I forbid it. So, the gods created us, the Amazons, to influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth.
Yeah, that's right. They're a walking contradiction. We'll get more of this later, but yeah, no, they're a walking contradiction. We must train as warrior women to stop the god of war, but we were sent to show love and compassion to mankind, which is why we're locked up on an island away from all of humanity so that they can't find us.
Hello, Diana. Hello, Diana. Diana! Diana! Come back!
This scene establishes that this young girl is Diana, if you had any doubt beforehand that the little girl that we were following was Diana. Especially strange because we are soon going to find out that Diana is the only child on the island, so obviously it's Diana. Who is going to be confused about this being Diana or not? She's even wearing the bracers, which is weird because she's just constantly wearing the bracers. We never see her really take off the bracers. It almost makes you wonder if the bracers grow with her? Yeah, no, I know they don't, but it's like, why is she wearing them already? Like, what? Everyone's wearing them. Yeah, that's a good point. Everyone is wearing them, even in the market and such, which means these are all warrior women. And yet they're doing daily life things. And then if you see in the training things, they're like breaking pots all over the place. So they obviously have people working on pottery. And they have like an entire pottery manufacturing, like, going on. And So there's obviously got to be some type of civilization there beyond the warrior woman, and yet they're all warrior women, and then your civilization is already falling apart. Magic, Zeus, magic, Zeus. Yes, okay, we can only do this so many times, though, in the movie.
But you know, a scorpion must sting, a wolf must hunt.
She is a child. The only child on the island. Please let her be so.
But Mother...
There will be no training.
So Diana is the only kid on the island. The island full of the people who was put on Earth by Zeus to bring love to mankind and restore peace, right? That already doesn't make sense, but beyond that, let's discuss something that no one's supposed to discuss, right? We're not supposed to discuss the lady's age, right? But well, we're going to right now, because let's consider what we see of Diana. We see Diana as a child here. We see Diana in like young teenage years, and then we see Diana as a young woman, and then we see Diana in the modern age. So she obviously ages slower than humans, but let's take into context the end of the movie. So this next bit is going to spoil the incredibly obvious twist that is in this movie, so, you know, if you were worried about mild spoilers and we're just gonna stop it, now is the time not to go watch the movie, you silly person.
So Zeus left us a weapon, one powerful enough to kill a god.
With his dying breath, Zeus created this island to hide us from the outside world, somewhere Ares could not find us.
Right, and we know what that weapon was, don't we? Yes, at the end of the movie we find out, well, people who for a second were fooled that that sword was actually the god killer found out that Diana is the weapon. But that means Diana was left with the Amazons, or, well, was born back when Zeus was still around, or at least while he was dying. And if you take a look at the Greek soldiers depicted in the little animated story that's being told, they look Hellenic, basically, which would be like 300 to 100-ish BC, which is kind of late for something like that to happen, because there's a lot of established history that's already but like, that's okay. And I mean, that's pretty much as late as you can put it for something that's gonna be Greek and classical. So we're talking about like 2,000 years to 2,300 years old. Yeah, she seems a little naive on a lot of stuff to be that old, huh? Like, a lot of stuff that she shouldn't know, she knows, and a lot of stuff that she knows, she really shouldn't know because she's been secluded on the island, and, like, it just makes no sense. Yeah. Well, this also makes no sense. Why doesn't any Amazon age, like, at all? Like, she ages, so that it can't, like, you can't be like, oh, no one ages on the island. Like, well, then why does Diana age? Because she's a half god. Like, well, then she's even more, like, prone to immortality. Why is she aging faster than the Amazonian woman? What? And I mean, she's still treated like a young girl. Like, she's not come of age yet for some, like, and if she's 2,300 years old, then that doesn't make any sense. Like, that's beyond the point where this should be an issue, regardless of what you, like, look like.
What's that?
It's a, it's a watch.
A watch?
Yeah, it's a watch, tells time.
Zeus left the child he had with the Queen of the Amazons as a weapon to use against me.
You liar. I compel you to tell me the truth.
I am.
So that clip shows Ares telling Diana about her being the weapon at the end of the movie. Really why I wanted to show that is to just, well, A, it ties into the point I just made, but also I just wanted to make a quick point about Ares. You see in this scene, Ares kind of works like this, but later, like, it needs to change, and it doesn't, and this is why. This is the weirdest thing about Ares. Like this scene, right, that I'm gonna show you right now. You see the mustache is okay when he's the British guy that's in disguise, but then you do this.
Left too weak to stop them. All these years I have strived.
No one can take that seriously. I'm sorry. Who can take that seriously? If you can take that seriously, please let me know. That mustache looks ridiculous on an ancient Greek god. For the love of goodness, will you please stop? What were you thinking? So this may be the smallest nitpick in the entire thing, but what's up with her hair? Why isn't it flying up? Does she have like the strongest hairspray in the world, like imaginable? Or was this just badly done, and should her hair really be flying up? Was it like fan really that hard to use here? Like what happened? Why you do this?
We are the bridge to a greater understanding between all men.
Right.
You know that if you choose to leave, you may never return. To influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth.
And stopping the god of war is our foreordinance.
So what you just saw is the only example of travel in this movie that makes any sense. Captain Steve Trevor steals a plane from somewhere in here and flies it either this way if they're in the ancestral home, which would be off of one of these rivers up here, I can't remember which one, which they obviously aren't, or he flies it this way, which it obviously is, the island that they move to off of the coast of mainland Greece that in the DC thing is shrouded by mist and invisible or whatever, and gets shot down over here. He's trying to get his plans over there. That makes sense. That's fine. So far, so good. From there, we diverge, however.
Where are we?
Themyscira.
No, I got that before, but I mean, where are we?
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna look at the boat trip and how nonsensical it is. But how? We don't know where Themyscira is. You can't do it. You don't know where it is. Ah, well, for that, we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. We are going to place Themyscira as close as the closest Greek islands to London as you can get. So we'll put them somewhere here, okay? That'll be our starting point. You also need the speed of the boat, I hear you saying. Well, we're gonna look at a few different speeds. So let's get ready for a little bit of math. Oh, how fun. Everyone's favorite.
Nice outfit.
Thank you.
Nice try, Wonder Woman, trying to distract us with your outfit and your long legs. We won't have it. We're going to do some math here to show how ridiculous this journey is. Because Steve Trevor was about to figure out how ridiculous this journey is. Let's continue. So we've got our generous placement of the Themyscira here, and we have a generous route. A generous route considering the 300 BC boat that they take to make this trip in. Alright? So how long is this trip? And why? Well, the reason it's generous is because generally those ships try to stay along coastlines most of the time. But we're giving it to them. We're giving it to them. So they've got a pretty direct route going up there. So how long is this, you say? Well, yeah, that's right. It's 2,706 nautical miles. Yeah, we're gonna forget about this. We're gonna say it's even better. And go with 2,706 nautical miles. That's how far it is for them to go from here to London. Okay? Giving them every generous benefit of the doubt that we can, that I can think of.
I'm leaving in that?
We are.
Yeah, we're leaving in that?
Do you not know how to sail?
Of course I know how to sail. Why wouldn't I know how to sail?
It's just that that's a ridiculously old boat, and the notion that you're going to make this journey in that is utterly ridiculous. Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. I'm with you. So what speeds are we going to look at? I hear you asking. Yeah, well, that boat probably can't go faster than 5 nautical miles an hour, but we're gonna not even attempt that. We're gonna give it 8. We're gonna give it 8 nautical miles an hour, and then we're also going to check what the fastest boat in the world would do if it had the best conditions and went full speed for the entire journey.
How long until we reach the war?
The war? Which part? The Western Front in France is 400 miles long from the Alps to the North Sea.
Quick point, the closest points of the war are here and here-ish, somewhere along the Turkish seaside. For where they're leaving from, somewhere here, you know? So right next door, actually. You could be there in no time. Like, this is all, you're basically already on the front when you're in the Aegean, like with the ships and stuff. Themyscira is in the middle of the war, had you not noticed, with the soldiers arriving on your beach yet. But that's getting off point. Let's stay with the math. So we have 2,706 nautical miles, which we are dividing by 8 nautical miles per hour, which equals 338 hours. Let's see, that's divided by 24 is 14 days. So 2 weeks. Let's check that 5 nautical miles again. So we go back to 2,706. We divide it by 5 nautical miles an hour. 541 hours. Yeah, let's check that in days. That's 22 and a half days. Yeah, that's 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks. Now why? Why do I say 5 nautical miles an hour, you might ask? Well, at the end of the trip, Steve says, "Good morning." And we made good time, we got a tow. They're being towed by a steamboat, and steamboats, I'm pretty sure, didn't go over like 6 nautical miles an hour. So if that thing's making them go faster, they can't be going faster than that type of boat. Now, given the chance that I'm wrong, given the chance that it's Wonder Boat, given the chance of anything, we're going to look at the fastest boat. Well, the fastest sailboat, I should say, because it is a sailboat. And I left that up from the last one. Oops. But yes, the fastest sailboat in the world. So I just Googled it, and for the reliability of Google, but we've still got a fast speed here. We've got 59.23 knots. And those who don't know, knots basically means a nautical mile per hour. It's basically the same thing. I'm pretty sure. So 59 knots. You may notice that's over 10 times faster than the predicted speed. So let's look at our number, 2706 nautical miles, divided by 59. We're just going to round it to 59. The chance that you can go full speed the entire time is 0 anyway. So let's see. Oh, 45 hours. Right. Yeah, that's still basically 2 days. And what happens in the movie? Well, basically, they both go to sleep, by the way, so nobody's steering the boat. No one is watching where they're going. They're just floating along the Mediterranean in the hotbed of World War I. In the hotbed of World War I. That other map was for later. But, yeah. Fantastic. And they go to sleep, and they wake up, and he says good morning.
Morning. We got lucky. We caught a ride. We made some good time.
We made good time. You made ridiculous time, man. Scene goes on way too long, and I want to bring it up because people are going to ask why I overanalyzed, and I'm admitting it's overanalyzing a superhero movie that is aimed at young audiences. It's okay to have these flaws in it. Yes, well, it shouldn't have a scene like this in it then. Like, this goes on way too long. Like, a little reference, fine, but this is so much cringe for so long. It's ridiculous.
I've read all 12 volumes of Cleo's treatises on bodily pleasure.
All 12, huh?
Yeah, there's more. We cut out most of it. This is a really long, cringy scene. And the calculations we just did, it makes it even worse, because this is the only thing, pretty much, that we see them do on the boat until they arrive in London. So, this conversation lasted somewhere between 2 days and 3 weeks, it seems. You know, that's almost imaginable, considering how long it seemed watching it. I may need a book. Or 12.
Did you bring any of those with you?
You would not enjoy them.
I don't know, maybe.
No, you wouldn't.
Why not?
They came to the conclusion that men are essential for procreation, but when it comes to pleasure, unnecessary.
So it took her 12 books to realize she has a hand? Yeah, it works the other way around too.
Have you never met a man before? But what about your father?
I had no father. My mother sculpted me from clay, and I was brought to life by Zeus.
So you had a father. You were brought to life by Zeus. How is that not your father then? Like, I'm confused. And then we find out he is her father. So why does she not think he's her father? If Zeus brought you to life, then he's your father, right? Your mother sculpted you from clay. So the woman who sculpted you from clay, that definitively your mother. But the guy who breathed life into you, that you don't consider your father. What? Also, I want to take a second to say how that story deepens the story of her mother, of the Amazon queen who, because if you think about it, Diana grew up, we've seen her as a young girl, which means that the clay sculpture was most likely of a baby. And I think a lot of people have the idea that, like, she was sculpting like the perfect Amazon or something like that, you know, and that because that's what Diana becomes, you know, this divine Amazon warrior princess. But actually it's a warrior queen who really wants a baby. It's a shame they couldn't show a little bit more of that. They instead tried to, you know, give her that cold, stern leader feel. It would have been nice to see the story in a flashback or as one of those little animations, you know, thrown in. But then I didn't really like the animations myself, so kind of wish they had just done a scene like they did at the end for Ares' story. But that's all we have time for in this installment. I hope you will stop by again and check out what we do next. If you haven't already, please follow the Yellow Rabbit and do all the little thingies. All the thingies you do for all the other YouTubers. Thank you in advance. And hopefully I'll catch you next time we go down the rabbit hole.